Lima, both Virgin racing cars out in Group 1, Nico Prost as well, and Lucas de Grassi for Audi Sport, Captain Stefan Sarazan. Group 2, Loic Duval, Alex Fontana, Bruno Senna, Jean-Eric Verne and Oliver Turvey will be going out in the second group. Group 3, Chandok Trilli, Heidfeld, Yamamoto and Abt. In Group 4, we've got Jerome D'Ambrosio, Sebastian Buemi, Simone de Silvestro, Salvador Duran and Nelson Piquet Jr. So 3 championship contenders going out in Group 4. We've got 2 of the championship contenders going out in Group number 1. So it's going to be very, very interesting. There you can see the pit lane complex in the centre of the park, and everybody just about getting ready to head out onto the circuit to enter the qualifying session. So let's hear now from Jean-Eric Verne, the man who has had 3 pole positions so far this season, the most successful man in qualifying this year. Can he do it again?
Jean-Eric Verne, you've had 3 poles. Are you going to make it a 4th?
I'm going to try to, yes.
And what do you think of the track here?
That track is really challenging. It's quite fun. A lot of bumps, but it makes it really difficult to drive, and yeah, it's not easy to complete a good lap.
Okay, well, good luck. Thank you.
Man of few words, Jean-Eric Verne. Lucas de Grassi in the car already, going out in the first group, and in general the qualifying group system hasn't made quite the impact we thought it was going to. You can get pole if you go out in Group 1.
Yeah, and how many times did I say, oh, it was in Group 1, it's not going to happen, and then I was proved wrong pretty much every time. So yeah, it's not that critical, I would say. Easy for us to say sitting in the commentary booth, but it doesn't appear to be that critical. That being said, all things being equal, I would rather be in Group 4.
So now let's hear from Jerome D'Ambrosio. He is going to be going out in Group 4 later on. Race winner in Berlin. He's for Nicky.
Jerome D'Ambrosio, looking like a good day for you in Group 4 for qualifying, and a great practice session.
Yeah, it went pretty well. I mean, I'm 4th after free practice, so that's a good thing. And Group 4 hopefully is going to be a good one as well. The track's improving, so yeah, I think so far everything's good. Now we got to make it count in qualifying.
Absolutely. I mean, you really have nothing to lose today. Are you just going to be absolutely going from it from the get-go?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you say, nothing to lose. I just want to do good. There are a couple spots where you're going to have to take maybe a little bit more risks, but we'll see. It's we're going to just push as hard as I can, and then we'll see.
And have you managed to just focus on today, or have you got tomorrow at the back of your mind?
Not at all. I mean, tomorrow is really like another weekend. It's another day, it's another race. Now I got to think about now, and whatever happens today won't affect tomorrow, because tomorrow's another day. There's a whole night if something happens, and to fix everything. So it should be fine.
Well, I hope you have a good one. Thanks very much.
So there's the start-finish straight, running down towards the first corner here at Battersea Park. Before 1846, it was just known as Battersea Fields. It became a park in the late 1800s. It used to be a very famous spot for dueling. If you wanted to have a duel with someone you were upset with, you'd come to Battersea Fields. And in 1829, the Duke of Wellington and the Earl of Winchelsea had a duel here in Battersea Park this weekend. It's a different kind of duel, but just as serious.
We might have the old kind of duel if we get some interesting moments in the race between drivers. Exactly. Maybe either some swords or some muskets later on this afternoon.
Fabio Lima, newcomer this weekend in the Virgin Formula E team. He is going to be racing for them, the Swiss driver, replacing Jaime Alguersuari. Qualifying goes green here in London. The penultimate qualifying session of the season is underway as the cars make their way out onto the circuit. Sam Bird and Fabio Lima for Virgin, Nico Prost for e.dams, Lucas de Grassi for Abt, and Stefan Sarazan there in the black and red Venturi car, making their way out onto the track. We're expecting to see them do 2 full-speed 200 kilowatt flying laps, and in between those laps they'll have cool-down runs as well. And this is all to decide the grid for round 10 of the 11-round championship coming up later on. 2 races this weekend, 1 today, 1 tomorrow.
Less time to mess around in qualifying, though, with a longer lap this weekend, and that's that's going to compress things. There'll be less time to do your cooling down laps. You're getting everything ready, getting up to speed. You're going to have to get on it here.
So that was turn 1, and then there's the little right-hand kink at turn 2. This is the run down towards the 90-degree left-hander at Prince Albert, turn 3. And they're currently making their way along the bottom of the picture here, up towards the left-hander there at number 8. That's Sungate, the 90-degree left. And that is one of the 4 main gates that give you entry into this park. And through there go the Virgin cars, one after the other, through their own corner. I think there's a big presence from them here this weekend. This is Fabio Lima, GP2 champion, actually defeated Sam Bird to the GP2 championship a couple of years ago. As we see Mark Schneider there having a look on. This is on board with Lucas de Grassi. This is through the second Lake chicane, then through this long left-hander at Rosary Gate at turn 13. Blah, 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 blah. And Nelson Piquet watching on, and I think one of the mechanics having a little bit of fun.
Need to get heat in these carbon brakes too. There's no blocking of the brakes, so you've got to get the heat into the brake and generate that heat before you start your qualifying lap. So that's something else that we'll be seeing there.
So de Grassi down into the final turn, and doesn't look as though, he's not doing his full power lap yet. As you can see, he's weaving from left to right.
Now be careful with the amount of crown and camber on the roads. To be doing that is pretty tricky. Catch you out in a hurry.
Through the left-hander of 1. And down into Prince Albert again he comes.
Tightens up at this point of the track, something fierce, doesn't it? Look at that.
Yeah. Now up to the first of these chicanes. That's turn 4 and 5. Then through the very quick next chicane. This is Nico Prost, who too is out there just warming up on the circuit. As I say, they'll take a couple of warm-up laps, and then they will go flat out.
They're actually, when we talk about warm-up laps, in the case of Formula E, a lot of times they're cooling down the motor and everything, the whole system. They're getting air through the radiators and getting everything cooler than they can in the pit lane to allow you to get the maximum performance out of it when you are at 200 kilowatts.
So to give you a timing reference, 1 minute 25.351 was the fastest lap time that we saw in the free practice sessions earlier on. That was set by Jean-Eric Verne. So 1 minute 25.351 is the kind of benchmark. So I'm expecting pole position to be dipping into the 1 minute 24s. You can see how hard Fabio Lima is working to try and heat up his brakes there. And he's really pushing hard, locking up his wheels as the fans watch on. And listening in as well to the trackside commentary, I think, not me, but
it's good to see all the fans with the merchandise on. Like, you're seeing the different teams supported, the series itself. That's cool to see.
So Nico Prost is the first man on a 200 kilowatt power lap. He's just coming down towards the first corner now. Lucas de Grassi is on it as well. So this first lap, they'll get 2 full power laps, and this first lap will sometimes be a little bit of a banker. Here comes de Grassi into the first corner, the man second in the championship. We're riding on board with him now as he comes through the right kink. Under braking now for Prince Albert, the 90-degree left.
Oh, bit oversteer. Lovely bit of power oversteer.
Now into this sequence of chicanes.
A couple of quick chicanes here, the 4, 5, 6, 7 area. Look at that.
Fantastic
flat through there.
He wasn't far off, was he?
Yeah, braking for 8. Big bump on the exit here of 8. You'll see it. A bit of an untidy exit there.
At the moment, it's Sam Bird who is the quickest of all of them in the first sector.
Sounds like it got airborne there again.
Now coming up into the Lake chicanes through turns 9 and 10, then a little run down to 11 and 12. Nico Prost is the first man to come through the middle sector, and Buemi comes through it now, and de Grassi comes through it now and is 0.4 of a second quicker.
Very nice through there. This is our championship protagonist here, remember, through 13. Look how long that corner is, completely blind. You've got to commit to that.
And it is just about flat out by the looks of things. Now, Nico Prost is coming into the final turn now for the e.dams team. Across the line, 1 minute 26.593, so a second slower than we saw earlier on. Lucas de Grassi now for Abt is coming across the line. He goes quicker, 1 minute 25.6. That's more like it. Sam Bird.
Provisionally, P1.
That's
Prost has done a 26.6. You done a 25.7. Sorry. Sam Bird 25.9.
Doing my job for me, the engineer there for Lucas de Grassi. So he's quickest, Bird is second, Prost is third, Lima is fourth after that first qualifying run.
Where is Sarrazin? His segment 2 was really slow.
Yeah, so but his sector 1 was quite slow as well, so I don't think Stefan Sarazan in the Venturi car has run at full power yet.
We've got to hope, though, that when he starts his lap, he's not going to get traffic, because everybody else is going around as slow as possible, trying to cool that thing down, trying to get ready for their final go at it.
So here he comes across the line now, Stefan Sarazan. Looks to me as though he's hurtling it around. This is Lucas de Grassi. Oh, my goodness me.
That was what we heard on the in-car,
yeah,
with it going completely airborne. Sarazan should be fun to watch, though, because he was action-packed this morning. Here we go, watch it here. And there you go. Bit of airborne.
Yeah. Big moment there for Lucas de Grassi. Stefan Sarazan has gone fastest in Sector 1, though. Great first sector for the Venturi car. There's the app team watching the timing screens at the moment, but here comes, he's going to get caught up now behind the Virgin car. Both Virgin cars. Looks to the inside line, can't get through, then has to go to the outside. And Stefan Sarazan always seems to get himself caught up in traffic. Do Venturi do something different, perhaps?
Well, they do that extra warm-up lap, don't they? And it's not... I mean, they either have to come to an agreement, everybody does the same thing, or you get this situation.
He's still a 10th up. He's still a 10th up on the quickest time we've seen so far from Lucas de Grassi, but he's still got Nico Prost to deal with as well.
He had 2 more chicanes than anybody else, you know, because of not getting through. This turn 13, a massive commitment corner, and there's some traffic.
Oh, and they're all side by side up in front of him, and Sarazan, he's almost going to hit the wall there.
That was him on the radio, I think, having a bit of a...
Yeah.
Fuck off!
Yeah.
Very annoyed, Stefan Sarazan. That was him coming over the team radio and giving a little bit of a yell. But
rightly so.
But that's the apologies if that was swearing in French. I'm not sure if it was, but if it
I'd have been swearing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd have been swearing as well, because. But you take that risk if you decide to do a different strategy to everyone else every weekend.
And the drivers have talked about this in the meetings, but they can't come. The drivers and the teams cannot come to an agreement on everybody doing the same thing.
So now we've got Nico Prost, who's throwing it around. He's a quarter of a second up on the first sector.
Absolutely flat through 6 and 7. Into 8 now, the Virgin corner. Let's see if he hits that same bump that de Grassi did on this straight here, right about there. Oh yeah, there we go.
De Grassi is quick in the first sector, but not as quick as Nico Prost, who has a big front left lockup. Can he get it stopped in time? Just about, but he's pushing really hard. What's he got in the middle sector then? The timing beam coming up now. Across the line comes Nico Prost. He's just about a 10th of a second quicker than Lucas de Grassi at the moment. Into the second lakeside chicane, so close to the wall, and now through Rosary Gate, the long left-hander at turn 13. Spectacular stuff from Nico Prost. He's just got 4 corners to go. This is his second qualifying run. De Grassi is slightly quicker.
Yeah, de Grassi is quicker.
So here comes Nico Prost down towards the final corner. Gets on the brakes, turns it into the left-hander, across the line, and it's a 25.258. Quickest time we've seen so far. But here comes Lucas de Grassi, down towards the final turn now. The Brazilian driver is second in the championship, coming into these final 2 races of the season. Across the line, it's quicker, 25.105. De Grassi goes quickest of anyone.
And here's Bird. The pressure has just been ramped up on that man there.
Yep.
I think he can handle it, though.
And he's got to wait until the final group. Sam Bird across the line to go 3rd quickest. Fabio Leimer across the line. He goes...
Now here goes Sarazan now. Yes. Sarazan is now on his lap.
Oh, Leimer's off. Leimer's off, and that's going to ruin it for Sarazan, because the yellow flags are out. Fabio Leimer is locked up at Sungate, gone straight on into the barriers. And that's going to ruin Sarazan.
Yeah, well, if these guys hurry up, you could get on with it, but Leimer's not really looking like he's particularly hurrying.
Here comes Sarazan now, coming through the second chicane and getting ready to approach the yellow flag zone.
Oh, I mean, if I'm Sarazan, I'm going to be...
There he is.
What? I mean, the guy's not even turning the wheel. Leimer, is he? I'm not quite sure what he's doing.
Well, the yellow flag was out. I mean, he'll still push Stefan Sarazan, and he might be able to say, I lifted, and it'll be fine. So we'll see what he can do.
He went into that chicane just a bit too quick. You saw the car getting a bit squirrely on entry. He lost time there too. But if you're Fabio Leimer, he's got reverse, and he's just sitting there. I don't know. Anyway, frustrating for Sarazan there. He's had some tough moments this year, and it'd be nice to see him. His enthusiasm around here get rewarded, because he is Captain Excitement on this track, isn't he?
Oh, lock up on the front right, just as you cue it, as he comes into the Millennium chicane, now down towards the final corner at Chelsea Gate. And Sarazan, I mean, if he hooks it up, he could improve and beat Sam Bird across the line. No, it's 4th. A couple of tenths of a second down on Sam Bird.
I think Venturi need to rethink their qualifying strategy for next year, don't they?
And here's a look at what happened to Fabio Lima. Oh, he's just gone in too deep.
Yeah, we all do it.
He's locked up and gone all the way in. I was surprised he didn't come off the brakes a little bit more there and roll it around. This is the rear view of Fabio Lima. So you're going to see the corner he meant to take disappear off to the right.
The car bottomed, you saw the puff of smoke. The car bottomed shortly before he started locking up. I think that bump cost him out.
So Lucas de Grassi returns into the pit lane. Quickest man of anyone at the moment. 1 minute 25.105.
He's done his job.
Exactly, he has done the best he can at the start. And he pulls into Parc Fermé. Sebastian Buemi. Pressure ramped up on him and Piquet, and they've got to wait till the 4th group of qualifying as well. You must feel more pressure in Group 4. Because Group 1, you've just got to go out and do your own job, whereas Group 4, you've got targets to hit.
Yeah, but racing is such a mental sport. The pressure is on if you let it all the time, and you just can't do it. You can't let it get to you.
So here's a look at the timings after the first 5 cars have been out onto the circuit. Lucas de Grassi, the quickest man of anyone, a 1 minute 25.105. Nico Prost, second quickest, third for Sam Bird. Stefan Sarazan mightily frustrated down in 4th, and Fabio Lima stuck it in the barrier, so he is 5th quickest, but we've still got 15 drivers left to take to the circuit here in Battersea. The pit lane getting ready for the next group of cars. Loic Duval, Alex Fontana, Bruno Senna, Jean-Eric Vergne and Oliver Turvey. So we've got Duval, Senna and Vergne who are potential pole position contenders. Alex Fontana and Oliver Turvey maybe not, simply because this is the first time they've ever driven the car. It'll only be their 2nd lap at this 200 kilowatt power mode.
I want to see how Oliver Turvey progresses here. I really expect quite good things, because he's proved he can do the job, and he's getting a chance to showcase it this weekend, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to improve from what he experienced in FP1, FP2 and now to qualify.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's Battersea Park on the right hand side. That's where we're racing around, and over on the left you see Westminster, and over in the distance the Thames continues in that easterly direction and ends up flowing out into the sea. And hopefully all the fans that have come here over the weekend are enjoying themselves. Some 50 to 60,000 fans expected through the gates over the course of the weekend, and they can see themselves on the big screen, so they're very happy as ahead of the 2nd segment of qualifying, which will be coming up a little bit later on. Loic Duval for Dragon, Alex Fontana for Trulli, Bruno Senna here for the Mahindra team, Jean-Eric Vergne in 4th, and Oliver Turvey out there as well. So those are the 5 drivers that are going to be out in qualifying Group 2 any second now. So there's Jean-Eric Vergne, poised at the wheel of his Andretti car. The man who has taken 3 pole positions so far this season, more than anyone else in the field. Pole position last time out in Moscow, but he's yet to win a race. 3 poles, no race wins, just hasn't been able to get it going off the start, and to some extent hasn't managed to have the race pace that some of his rivals have managed.
I think early on he struggled to have the race pace while conserving the energy. He was using a lot more energy. That went away definitely, I think, the last couple of races, and yeah, he just didn't quite have that pace, but over 1 lap he's really got it figured out. Exciting to see what he does.
It was good straight away.
Let's see what these guys are saying.
But, then it's just how much risk you take.
How much risk you take?
Yeah.
How much risk do you want to take?
That's the big question for the championship contenders. At the moment, de Grassi seems to have managed it well. Quickest of anyone. He, Prost and Bird, the top 3 at the moment. There's Loic Duval at the wheel of his Dragon car.
What you'll find is those guys will be visualizing what they're going to do.
Qualifying Group 2 gets underway here in Battersea Park, and we can now hear from the man who's provisionally on pole position. Lucas de Grassi is down there with Nicky.
Well, Lucas de Grassi currently in provisional pole, but do you think you've done enough to hold on to it?
I've done my best. It was a good lap. We know that Group 1, it's with the worst track conditions. So I'm happy to be leading at the moment, but we have very strong competition, a lot of good drivers. I hope I stay there, but it will be a very tense 40 minutes now.
This weekend, obviously, it's the championship decider. How are you feeling coming into it?
I just take as another race. I have a big gap to catch back, 17 points. So just try to win both races. If we do that, for sure we'll be in a strong position to win the title. If we can't, we've done our best and we can walk home with the head proud and with the heads up.
So would you be happy with anything less than a win today?
I'll be happy if I do my best and everybody, all the team pushes, the car is in a good condition. If that means a win, of course I'll be happy. But if that means more points for us and for the team, is also a good result.
Thank you very much.
Good to hear from Lucas de Grassi there. Man provisionally on pole position, saying that if we do our best and you know, it's third place, then so be it. Can you really be happy if you're a racing driver? You do your best isn't good enough? Is that fine, or is that...
No, everybody wants to win, Jack. But I always found that the way to get the best performance out of myself was I would go out there and say, look, I am going to do my best, and that's it. You cannot, if you try sometimes too hard, you overdo it, and you end up making things worse. So if everybody performs at their best, that is it. And the people work so hard in any branch of the sport that that's all you can do. The competition is so high. Some days, some guys are better and they're going to beat you. But you try and minimize those days if you can. There's Loic Duval, first time through there. We're still on 150 kilowatts here on these sort of warm-up, cool-down laps as they are.
So inside the car, they have the ability to change how much power they're using. 150 kilowatts is the maximum you can run in race trim, but 200 kilowatts you get for 2 laps in the qualifying mode. So that's when they're going around, and we're not getting too excited about it. It's because they're kind of cruising a little bit, just getting everything up to temperature or down from the high temperatures if they've just done a hot lap. So Loic Duval is out there. Oliver Turvey looked like he was pushing a little bit.
He was fairly sporty into turn 8, wasn't he?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on his sector times. What's he done in sector 1? A 25.2. So no, he's not on a full powered lap. But Oliver Turvey in that fluorescent and silver car, one of the 2 British drivers in the field. Great to have him in the series. A real top racer as he comes into...
Ex-McLaren Autosport Young Driver of the Year.
Yep, former McLaren test driver as well. He's coming through the long left-hander at turn 13, Rosary Gate, and then down into the Millennium Chicane. Feeding out through that, down to Chelsea Gate.
Now we see Turvey trying to get a gap there. He's just backed off trying to get a gap to Duval. Doesn't need to be running up the back of him during his qualifying lap. And he wants a clean sight through the corners too. And he's now started accelerating. On the start of your lap, this last corner is all about your exit. On the end of your lap, it's all about the entry, because the timeline is right on the exit of turn 17.
So this is Loic Duval for the Tracken team, really pushing through turn 1.
Picked up a bit of dust there, didn't he?
Yep. The French racer down now into Prince Albert, the 3rd corner on the circuit. What's his first sector like? 23.2 is the best we've seen so far, and Duval's there or thereabouts.
Very tidy through that first part of the lap.
Oh, throws it through. Fantastic stuff coming through turn 6 and 7. Up now towards Sungate. The tyres squealing as he turns it in.
Oliver Turvey, 23.0 first section there.
Yeah,
through segment 1, that's good.
That's a really good lap from Oliver Turvey. He's 2 tenths up on Loic Duval at the moment. Duval on the brakes, coming down into the first of the Lakes chicanes. He'll come through the 2nd split now. What's he like compared to Lucas de Grassi? 3 tenths down now in the middle sector. Keep an eye on the running clock for Turvey as well in the bottom right of the picture. And he's 4 tenths down. So Duval, quickest of the 2 of them at the moment. Jean-Eric Verne, though, has just set the fastest first sector of anyone by a couple of tenths of a second.
Yellow at turn 7, though.
Yeah, there's a yellow flag out there. And it's Jean-Eric Verne. Jean-Eric Verne has gone off down at Sungate. He should be able to get going again. That's Rob Arnott watching on. And he's going to be so frustrated because Verne was looking quick. Here comes Duval across the line. He goes 4th. Yeah. Turvey's about to come through the final corner now in the Team China car and go 4th as well.
Very nice. 25.9. It's not a bad first lap.
But a mistake for Jean-Eric Verne.
He's got a chance to rectify it if he can get the thing turned around. There's Bruno Senna, 27.5. That was... Unless Bruno's on this plant, no, he looks like he's slowed down. Just wasn't a very good lap.
Yeah, must have made it. Or he might have come through the yellow flag zone behind Jean-Eric Verne.
That's why you get the big bucks. So hopefully Jean-Eric Verne's got it turned around. He's going to get one more go at it. But the yellow flag's still out right as we speak. Fontana 28.8 again, as you say, through the yellows.
Yeah, so not a good lap there for Alex Fontana, newcomer to Formula E this weekend. Now Verne is up and going again. So he, as we say, he has got one more shot. He's in the bright orange Andretti car. Whoa, lock the rears.
Well held. But by that point, there's nowhere to go. You know, he can't spin the thing round, so he's looking for reverse now.
And so this was Loic Duval sliding out of the final corner.
Up on the apex curve there and slid it all the way down the camber of the road on exit.
So de Grassi it is, quickest of anyone at the moment still. Jean-Eric Verne is out there. He's gone straight on to a full power lap. Here he comes.
This is him finishing 7th.
He's turned it up now, and now he's going to go on to his full power lap, is he? Yes. So this is Jean-Eric Verne's final shot at taking a 4th pole position in Formula E. So this is going to be spectacular. He may have traffic out there into turn 1. Look how much the car is moving around. Spectacular stuff.
That was phenomenal. Let's stay on him. This is going to be a heck of a lap here.
Into turn 3, Prince Albert misses the apex.
Missed the apex. That's going to cost him. Street circuit, you get offline. He's only 200s off. But he's 2/10 slower than he was his first time through that first sector.
There
we go. Did you see the smoke from the tub hit the curb there?
Now, does he keep it together at Sungate this time? Yes, he does. Through the left-hander. Now out towards the 2 lake chicanes. In between the 2 chicanes, we get a next reading.
We'll wait for that reading. Oh, using all the curb there and then some.
What's it going to be across the line for Jean-Eric Verne in the middle sector? He's all just a couple of tenths down. 10th and a half down on Lucas de Grassi. So what's he going to do through the final sector? Flings it into the penultimate chicane. Now through the long left-hander. Look how much the car moves around as he comes through that left.
Using all the road there. With the crown on the road, that is as much road as you can use. Didn't carry nearly as much speed, I would say, in the entry there, but it seemed to get through the middle of the corner quite nicely.
Turvey's on a quick lap as well, but Jean-Eric Verne comes up towards the final corner at Chelsea Gate, throws it into the left-hander across the line, second quickest, less than a 10th slower than Lucas de Grassi, but that is not a bad lap at all for Jean-Eric Verne. That demotes Sam Bird out of the top 3.
What the fuck?
And apologies for that, Jean-Eric Verne, very frustrated with something out there. I'm not 100% sure what. But meanwhile, we've got Loic Duval out there on the circuit. And,
through 13. Look how much tighter Duval was there than Jean-Eric Verne.
Winding their way through. And,
Oliver Turvey, personal best through segment 2.
Verne, nevertheless, set the fastest final sector that we've seen so far. Duval comes across the line now. Any improvement from him? Yes, but he remains in 6th position. Here comes Oliver Turvey out of the final corner, super close to the wall, and out qualifies Sam Bird. Really good job from Oliver Turvey. Out qualifies his fellow British racer. Bird drops down to 6th.
I think you're going to see Oliver Turvey upset with that last corner. He outbraked himself on the way, missed the apex, and was just recovering. You know, we said that you can give up the entry in the exit rather for the entry in the middle on that last lap, but I think he might have overdone it just a touch.
Alex Fontana across the line in 9th place. So that is everyone has had their second run in that second qualifying group. And it's Lucas de Grassi who's still the quickest man of anyone. There's a little spot in the middle where Jean-Eric Verne is going to slot in. But that man, Nelson Piquet Jr., championship leader, is going to be going out in Group 4 a little bit later on.
Wonder what he's listening to. Wonder what music to kind of calm him down, to rev him up. Each driver is a little bit different.
So that's the end of the second qualifying group. And good performance that from Oliver Turvey. You have to say, of the 10 cars that have gone so far, he's 4th, and it's his first time in the car.
Very, very impressive there. Made good gains. And I wonder if he'll have time to get back and tell Nelson what he thinks of maybe some changes they made after free practice 2. It's if the teammates are working really well together. There's somebody enjoying the time here at the Formula E race.
Thumbs up. And hopefully they're enjoying their day. Great to see so many fans here out around the circuit.
Perfect day for it.
It's lovely, isn't it? Whether it'll be the same tomorrow, we'll wait and see. But
the forecast says it is. How do we check at the forecast? Yep.
Okay, good. So that's the conclusion of the second part of qualifying. Still got 10 more cars to run in this qualifying session ahead of the race that gets underway at 4 o'clock later on. Lucas de Grassi is so far on provisional pole position halfway through this session. Jean-Eric Vergne not quite enough to get pole position away for the 4th time. Nico Prost 3rd at the moment, Oliver Turvey 4th, Senna 5th. Then we've got Bird, Duval, Sarrazin and Fontana and Lima completing the top 10 as we reach the halfway stage of this qualifying session. So let's hear now from Sam Bird. He's down talking to Nicky Shields.
Sam Bird, it looked like you lost quite a bit of time there on your 3rd sector. Did anything happen?
Yeah, we think we got a battery issue. All of a sudden in sector 3, had no drive, no power, which has cost us, you know, in our home race, a good position. So I'm gutted, absolutely gutted. I felt quite quick here this weekend for the first time in a few rounds, and you know, for things outside of your control to come in your way is very disappointing.
You were looking very strong in the first 2 sectors, but do you think you can still use that pace during the race?
Yeah, but you've seen this track, Nicky. There's no overtaking. You know, it's going to be follow the leader. We've got a safety car start, so it's going to be very tough.
Thanks very much.
Ever since the 2nd race in Malaysia, Sam Bird has cut a figure of frustration in the Formula E paddock. And it's another frustrating weekend for him here at his home race. He's going to be starting at least, at best 6th on the grid, but more likely sort of in the lower reaches of the 15 and 16s. 2 more groups to come. Karun Chandok, Jarno Trulli, Nick Heidfeld, Sakon Yamamoto and Daniel Abt are going to be going out in group number 3, and in the final qualifying group, that's when it's all going to get a little bit tasty. Jerome D'Ambrosio, Sebastian Buemi, Simona de Silvestro, Salvador Duran and Nelson Piquet Jr. The championship 1st and 3rd going out in that final group. The fans that have come here to Battersea Park this weekend have so far been treated to an entertaining qualifying session. Lucas de Grassi just edging out Jean-Eric Vergne at the moment at the top of the timing screens, but we've still got 10 races left to come. That is a man going out in the next one, Sakon Yamamoto. Just having a little bit of a conversation with his engineer. No, it's Jerry. Just getting up and telling Sakon everything he needs to do. This is his 1st ever qualifying session in a Formula E car. Sakon Yamamoto filling in for Antonio Felix da Costa this weekend. Not much chat between de Grassi and Buemi. Team manager of Dragon Racing has been asked to come to race control after qualifying. I presume that's Jay Penske that'll be sent up there. Not quite sure what that'll be for.
One of the traffic incidents, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Loic Duval got involved.
Nick Heidfeld getting ready there in the Venturi car.
He's had some good qualifyings this season, Nick Heidfeld. I think a best of 4th in Buenos Aires back in January. He's getting himself into the zone.
How different would his season look had he got through that last corner in China at the very first race?
And won.
Yeah, and won, because he was on for it. He done all the work, and the next thing you know, he's up in the barriers there, and was very lucky to come out of it uninjured. But how different would his season look? Because he's definitely got the pace at times.
Yep. Just hasn't quite worked out for him. All the Venturi team in general, because Stefan Sarrazin, we've seen him have the pace like today, but he's just been held up in qualifying today, and it's always something that ends up going wrong for both of the Venturi drivers. We should be getting the next qualifying session underway in about 15 seconds time. And it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys can do. Chandok, Trulli, Heidfeld, Yamamoto and Daniel Abt.
Can Trulli pull a lap out, as we've seen him do so many times?
Q3 gets underway here in Battersea Park. Out goes Karun Chandok. Jarno Trulli going out at the back of the order. Pole position in Berlin. All those times he has managed to pull it out of the bag, as you say. And he even looked a little bit quick in free practice too earlier on as well, Jarno Trulli, so it's worth keeping an eye out. Got a bollard on pit exit as well now. That's another one for them to try and attack. These are the groups, the drivers that are going to be going out in qualifying Group 3. Karun Chandok, Jarno Trulli, Nick Heidfeld, Sakon Yamamoto and Daniel Abt all making their way out onto the circuit. Abt has had a pole position so far this year. We shouldn't discount him. Jarno Trulli's had a pole position as well. Sakon Yamamoto, this will be his first ever qualifying session, and the second time he's driven it at the full 200 kilowatts of power, so I wouldn't expect him to trouble the front of the order. But
I haven't seen him yet on track. I've seen the other.
True.
Oh, here he comes. Yep.
Giving himself a bit of a gap, I guess.
Yeah.
So Yamamoto, former Super Aguri F1 racer, former HRT F1 racer as well, coming down towards the first corner. So as we've seen before, they have two building up laps, an out lap, a build up lap, and then a hot lap. Car 18 is under investigation. That's Alex Fontana in the Trulli car. Not quite sure what that's for. If we find out any information, we'll let you know as we go on board with Sakon Yamamoto. Let's hear from Jean-Eric Verne. He's not very happy with second place, I'd imagine. He's talking to Nicky Shields.
Jean-Eric Verne, provisional P2, but I know you're disappointed with that result. What happened?
Yeah, I lost a lot of time. I was supposed to do the cool down lap, and they called me last second when I was on the beginning of the slow down lap to go the maximum power for the last lap. And I thought, I don't know, everything changed in 1 second. So I lost a lot of time at the beginning of this lap, so which is a real shame, because I think we clearly had the possibility to make the pole today. But well, we have the race tomorrow. Hopefully we're not going to go far too much, because I don't think that was a really quick time. And yeah, let's do it in the race, and tomorrow there is another qualifying.
Do you think you can make it back up in the race?
To be fair, I don't think so. It's impossible to overtake in here. I mean, absolutely impossible. So we're going to have to rely on problems or stuff like this to make it.
Thanks very much.
Everybody's given up already.
Yeah, that's a frustrated Jean-Eric Verne. That explains his frustration that we heard over the radio earlier on, because it was a frustration with the team then, with that communication. But that's how he's already got changed. Look,
to be honest, it's not. What he says is absolutely true.
Yeah.
You know, losing that part of the track and losing that power, it's going to cost you a load of lap time. He's not. That's not a driver excuse. That was a real excuse.
There's the Mahindra team watching on, because they've got Karun Chandok out in this session. No one is lapping quickly at the moment. On board with Sakon Yamamoto, who's done a 24.5 in the first sector. Actually, it looks like he's pushing.
Yeah,
he's getting on with the program.
Any lap he can do, even if he's doing it at 150 kilowatts, as opposed to the full 200 kilowatt qualifying power, is going to help him.
Through the first of the lake chicanes, bouncing over the curbs on the inside line as he comes through the middle sector. No, he's not at the full 200, is he? He's 4 seconds down, so it'll be next time around. Yeah. Yeah. And there you can see him running at 150 at the moment. But now he'll turn it up.
Very careful through the 11-12 chicane there.
But everyone else, of course, was further up the road than Sakon Yamamoto, so they're all backing off to try and get themselves some space. So Heidfeld crosses the line. He's going to be the first man to give us a lap time as Yamamoto backs off. Here comes Heidfeld in the Venturi car, up and down, over the bumps into turn one. It's like watching a bucking bronco going down there into the first turn.
You'd say the Venturi cars aren't quite as nice over the bumps as some of the other ones we've seen.
Swings the back end out, coming through Prince Albert. Oh, big lockup somewhere out there. You could just hear it on the audio, as Heidfeld is just a 10th.5 down in the first sector. Karun's 1.7 seconds down, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was Karun that had a big old lockup coming up into Prince Albert.
Well, as we talked about in the track walk yesterday, just trying to get it stopped on that turn 3 area. Very, very tricky.
Down towards the first of the lake chicanes comes Heidfeld. Ooh. Throws it through, nicely done.
A little quick in there. You saw the momentum of the rear weight turn the car there a little bit too much.
And as a result, he's 0.6 of a second down on Lucas de Grassi's time at the moment. Oh, he's gone right over the curbs there.
I think he had an accident there. He just didn't hit anything.
So he's coming down now towards the Millennium chicane. It's been a ragged lap from Nick Heidfeld. Just one more turn to come. The left-hander at Chelsea Gate. And we'll get a lap time from him, a 1:25.105, the time to beat so far. Through comes Heidfeld. He's going to be in the 26s, I think, a 26.7. Lost a 1.5 seconds out there. How's Daniel Abt doing? He's about to come through the final turn. Chandler comes across the line. It's nowhere for him. Daniel Abt across the line, 8th quickest, 1.1 seconds down. Sakon Yamamoto
Here he comes.
Not had the greatest lap. Trulli comes across the line in 11th. Double front lockup for Yamamoto into the Millennium chicane. Gets it stopped, but that is not ideal.
Oof, that was not tidy through there at all. It was, yeah, all out, slightly on the edge of out of control, you would say.
Now into the final corner comes Yamamoto across the line, and it's a 1 minute 27.7, so 2.5 seconds down on Lucas di Grassi for Sakon. And everyone now will go into their cool-down phase for a lap or two before having their final stab at provisional pole. Now here comes Yamamoto.
What he did, he got onto the top of the crown of the road there and then tried to brake on it. And both wheels are pretty much, you see he's right in the middle of the road at the top of the crown. Yeah. He's tried to brake and both wheels are really unloaded at that point. And then he's out of control from that point onwards through the chicane. It was just a case of keeping it out of the barrier at that point. I would imagine his second lap will be a good improvement.
And then on the exit of the final corner, chucks it nice and close to the wall as well. Oh, so, goodness, really brushes it.
Yeah, now the trick for these guys, try and keep some heat in the brakes. Very difficult, but just on this cool-down lap, try and keep some heat so when you go to the pedal in turn 3 on that first lap, something actually happens.
So Lucas di Grassi, the quickest man so far, still on provisional pole position, but we've still got these 5 cars that are on track now to have another quick lap where they turn it up to full power and bomb it around this 2.9 kilometre Battersea Park circuit.
You mean drive with precision?
Yes.
Bomb it around.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
I'm sure that's how... Well, I was talking about Yamamoto.
Ah, okay.
So, Lucas di Grassi, the quickest man so far. So in that gang, Daniel Abt was the quickest man, 8th quickest. 1.2 seconds slower than his teammate Lucas di Grassi.
I mean, what, old Oliver Turvey's P4 right now. Looking pretty impressive.
Looking very good. So Heidfeldt's turned up.
There we go.
He's going flat out. Karun Chanduk isn't. He's doing another cool-down lap. So Heidfeldt's the man to watch into turn 1.
Heidfeldt's cars does not like those bumps into one, does it?
No, really lurching all over the place. Tucks it in neatly, much neater through turn 3 this time around.
Absolutely. Let's see if he can get these chicanes a bit better because he struggled there.
Less than a tenth of a second down on di Grassi in sector 1.
Didn't even touch the yellow curbs through the first of the chicanes there.
Okay. On the brakes into Sungate.
Wow, that looked pretty impressive.
It's not, but this is much neater from Nick Heidfeldt. Chanduk's done a 23.2 in sector 1, which is a very good first sector from Karun Chanduk. So we'll keep an eye out on him as well. As Heidfeldt, we're about to get his second sector split now, as he bashes across the curbs and comes across the middle sector timing line. And he's just 0.4 of a second down, so this could put him up into the top 3, if not quite the top 3, top 4 or 5, if he can hook it up here, Nick Heidfeldt. Now through this long left-hander of turn 13, Rosary Gate, into the final chicane.
There's time going begging through this bus stop here, really. See if he can get out of here. And then this last corner, just if you can really just throw it through that the entry and mid-corner segments.
So let's see what Heidfeldt can do. Into the final corner on the track, across the line, and it's only 8th for Nick Heidfeldt.
He's not going to be happy with that, is he? 26-1.
No.
Only a second off, but a second's a long old time.
Karun Chanduk's been in the middle sector for a long time. We'll try and keep an eye out on him. Oh, he's not on a 200 lap, is he? We saw him across the line. Oh yeah, I misread the timing screens. It was Fabio Lima's time I was reading in sector 1. So Chanduk's doing 150 kilowatt laps at the moment. Heidfeldt 8th, Daniel Abt in 9th. He lost a lot of time.
Karun's going to have traffic here.
Yeah.
Because he's now turned it up, and turn 1 is so narrow.
He's going to get him right at turn 1. Looks to the inside. Daniel Abt gets out of the way.
Great work by Daniel Abt there, absolutely. Just to have the heads up to see what was going on.
Karun really struggling to get it stopped down there at turn 3. And Prince Albert crushes the wall with the rear right.
Fantastic.
Half a second down in sector 1, but it looks great.
Yeah, he's going to be upset.
Is this flat? No, little lift.
Coast. Difficult to see the curbs with the sun. Oh, he's going to get more traffic.
That's Nick Heidfeldt up in front of him now. Trulli and Yamamoto are also on quick laps. Heidfeldt does a good job.
Big
Gets
bump
out of the
coming
way.
up here. There we go. Bit of airborne again. You can hear it skiff in the ground.
Into the first of the lake chicanes.
Wow, so quick through these chicanes, the Formula E car.
Across the line in the middle split, and he's 1.4 seconds down here, Chanduk.
Karun is not going to be happy with this lap, which is a common theme right about now. Right over the curbs. Turn 12, long turn 13. Corner just goes on forever. So easy to hit that inside wall. And you don't want that because you're going to end up hitting the outside wall shortly thereafter.
into the Millennium chicane comes Karun Chandok for the Mahindra team, down towards the final corner. One more turn to go, gets it stopped, gets it in the wall. And that is Karun Chandok. That's the end of his session. I don't think he's going to improve.
No, well,
he says on the radio, I'm in the wall in the last corner.
Yeah, we can say that.
To be honest, everybody's done the lap. He's not causing any...
Trulli and Yamamoto.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Trulli and Yamamoto are going to have their laps wrecked a bit.
I don't know if I'd be getting out of the car quite yet, Karun.
No, I'd sit in there for a little bit. But Trulli comes across the line and it doesn't improve, so he remains in 11th place.
Neither of them are going to improve with the car there, are they? Karun had the right idea. He absolutely just threw that...
just go flat out at the line.
Yeah, it just caught him. Unfortunate, really.
So that's a bit of work for the Mahindra mechanics to get to work on ahead of the race this afternoon. So those three unaffected at the moment. De Grassi, Verne and Prost.
Will that be the case after this Group 4?
Well, we've only got... There's no one really who can beat them. We've only got D'Ambrosio, Buemi, De Silvestro and Piquet and Duran. You know, there's not many quick guys in there.
No, not at all, no. Apart from D'Ambrosio, Buemi, De Silvestro, Duran and Piquet.
So this was Chandok down at turn 3. Got Prince Albert pushing it hard, sliding it out, almost clipping the wall. And then pushing a little too hard at the final corner. Does he lock up or just go too fast?
No, he just... Too fast. The angle's a bit long. If you notice, it bounced just as it crossed the island there.
Yeah.
It just bounces, watch it. You'll see here, just as he gets to the apex. Look how many... You've got to turn left, turn right, and then watch bounce. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And it was as it bounced, that's what caused him the thing. That cost him the time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the reaction from the Mahindra garage. And that's the session over for Karun Chandok. So 5 cars left to run in this qualifying session, and then we will know who will be on pole position for the London E-Prix later on today. And at the moment, as the Mahindra gets picked up at the final corner, Karun being told you can cross the track, and he's being told you can't cross the track. I think he wants to keep an eye out on the car. But here's the standings at the moment. Lucas de Grassi, provisional pole position with just 5 drivers to run. Jean-Eric Verne second, Prost in third, Turvey in fourth. Bruno Senna completing the top 5, so good lap from Senna. Bird, Duval, Heidfeld, Abt and Sarrazin completing the top 10 at the moment. Then we've got Jarno Trulli in 11th, Karun down in 12th, Yamamoto, Fontana and Lima in 15th. But Buemi, Piquet, D'Ambrosio, Duran and De Silvestro still to come, and they could steal pole position. This is the view of a car that's been wrecked. Front right corner, not, I mean the front right corner's done, but these guys are quite used to changing those parts of the car. That shouldn't cause them too much of a drama.
No, absolutely not. It doesn't even look like it got the front wing. So they'll have that fixed in a minute, the Carlin boys that run the Mahindra team. Yeah, it won't take more than a minute or two.
So they're pulling the car out.
Might have to take the steering rack out though. It might have damaged the steering rack. I've got a bit of experience of hitting walls and street courses. I've done the odd steering rack, but yeah, as it torques it like that, it can break it, and that would require a new steering rack, which will take a little bit more time.
So, just a couple of minutes, and then we will be underway with the final qualifying group ahead of the E-Prix that gets underway at 4 o'clock later on today.
If passing is as difficult as everybody's making out, this next qualifying session is going to have a major effect on this championship, isn't it? And there's 3 points for pole position.
Very good point. There we saw group number 4, Jerome D'Ambrosio there in the Dragon car, ready to head out onto the circuit. The final 10-minute session about to get underway here in Battersea Park in qualifying. These 5 drivers are the only ones that can stop Lucas de Grassi from sealing pole position, and what would be his first pole position of the season, and what a time to get it. That's Simona de Silvestro. She's out in this qualifying session along with Sebastian Buemi at e.dams, Jerome D'Ambrosio at Dragon, Nelson Piquet Jr. in Next EV by Team China, and Salvador Duran for Amnin Aguri. What a lineup this is. this is the... Sometimes with this qualifying lottery draw, we don't quite get the climax in qualifying that we're after. But I think this time we're going to, because we have got quick drivers out there.
And a lot at stake.
Yeah, exactly. Got all the fans out, and even the young children, they can come here because it's not too loud, as long as they don't put one of those earpieces on them, and then they get to hear the commentary. As long as they avoid that, then they'll be having fun. On board with Nelson Piquet Jr. up into Sungate, the left-hander. Now that's on the backstretch. And are all these guys going to do the same hot lap, slow lap tactic? Three of them all together, swapping positions. Piquet wants to get in front of them all. Passes Buemi.
You see the camera freezing there, it's just been under the trees. It's so difficult for the cameras to work, and the team radios.
Yeah, that's the difficulty. You still get it in Formula 1 at places like Monza, but less so at the new empty facilities. So, again, we're expecting them to do this out lap, and then a warm-up lap, and then turn it up to 200 and try and take pole position away from Lucas di Grassi, the man who's second in the championship. And this is where the positives is that this today is totally separate to tomorrow. So if today goes bad for you, you can refresh tomorrow and you'll be all right. That's the kind of positive of running it like this.
Yeah, you have to treat it as two completely separate race weekends. That's what we've got. It just happens a day apart. It's completely separate, yeah. And if you have a problem today, you can rebuild the car tonight, and off you go.
So here are Piquet and Buemi, just cruising around at the moment. And so on the next lap through, they'll be going for it. They're just on their 150 kilowatt laps at the moment, winding their way around the circuit. And we'll have the running clocks on both of them as well. Lucas di Grassi, the man in the middle, the Brazilian, who led the championship for the first couple of rounds after winning the opening race of the season in Beijing. Jean-Eric Vergne on the left-hand side, currently in second place.
I wonder if they realise we can hear them as well as we can. Might get some colourful language here as well, we have to apologise for.
They did very well.
They're talking about Le Mans now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are.
I mean, poor di Grassi has been sat there for the best part of 40 minutes now, so he's probably running out of conversation.
At least they're talking.
So D'Ambrosio is going to be the first man on the circuit. He too is in the championship challenge, but a little way out of it. He turns it up to 200 now and goes for it, but really it's Piquet and Buemi who are going to be the two guys to keep an eye on in terms of their battle for the championship title. There's Mr. Liu, the man in charge of the next EV by Team China squad.
Here we
up
go,
to
up
200.
to 200. Let's see what Piquet can do here. This is laying it all on the line. Listen to him just bottoming out.
On board with Piquet into turn one, wrestles it through the left-hander.
Commitment through there, great.
Into Prince Albert, through the left. Oh, big slide on the rear, manages to keep it out. Buemi's locked up. On the right-hand side, we've got Sebastian Buemi, had a little bit of a lock-up coming through down towards the left-hander at 3.
Absolutely flat through the 6-7 chicane there, Piquet. Oh, locked the rears, you heard it chattering on the rears.
Yeah.
Fantastic, got it stopped again. I would say lost a bit of time on the exit there.
No problems for Buemi, meanwhile, at turn 8.
What are the splits here? If this is Piquet's banker lap, I hate to see his all-out go for it lap.
So Piquet across the line in the middle sector. He's a 10th down on Lucas di Grassi at the moment. Sebastian Buemi is 4 tenths up. Sebastian Buemi absolutely flying out there at the moment in the e.dams car, looking to take provisional pole position. Here's Nelson Piquet throwing it now into the final chicane, the Millennium chicane, through the right, then the left and then the right again, out towards the final corner. Meanwhile, Jerome D'Ambrosio is not having a great time out there, actually, as they come towards the final turn now. Lock up from Piquet on the front right, gets it stopped across the line. Third quickest for Nelson Piquet, but here comes Buemi, throws it out of the final corner and goes quickest by 4.5 tenths of a second. Wonderful lap from Buemi, he's on provisional pole.
And he lost a bit of time at that last corner. Really great lap there. And you can see di Grassi just deflate. That's okay, that's his 3 points gone.
The third third place man in the championship, is really taking it to the guys behind. There's Simona de Silvestro coming across the line. She goes 16th quickest on her first lap. First sector was good, lost time mainly in the middle sector. And this is Salvador Duran out there. And Duran coming down into the final chicane now, the Millennium chicane. And then out towards the final.
He's giving it some, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is booting it around. First two sectors aren't too bad. Where's this going to put him across the line? And it's 9th place for Salvador Duran. Good lap.
Not bad at all for Salvador. He was a late addition to the series, wasn't he?
Yep.
And he's really watching him progress throughout the year. Has been quite impressive.
He had a really strong result last time out in Moscow as well, did Salvador Duran. This is on board with Buemi then, into the final corner.
Yeah, missed it. Locked to front.
Really swung it out as well.
He missed the apex, but missed the wall too, so
yeah.
He's got another lap to get it right.
But by the time, he'd already crossed the timing line though, by the time he was out of shape and sliding.
Yeah,
that's the positive.
Just missed a wee bit. Nico Prost can head back now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're wondering whether he touched it. And I think they did. He did touch it just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's an ominous marker to be laid down by Sebastian Buemi. Nelson Piquet now has got to think, right, I've got to find 6/10 of a second.
Yeah, that's not the work of a moment, is it? And it was a fairly committed lap by old Nelson too. Maybe it was too committed. You hear him warming the brakes here. Is he going straight back onto it? Yep, he is. You see how the corner looks different as he starts the lap.
Yeah.
It sounds like, I would imagine Nelson's on the full 200, so let's see what he's got here.
He is down into turn one. Championship leader. Into Prince Albert.
Got to get it stopped here for turn 3. Missed the apex.
Little lock-up as well.
Still fairly neat though.
And he's 1/2 tenth up on Sebastian Buemi. Oh, the back end's going. Can he keep it together? Just about.
Beautifully controlled. That was very nice through there.
Leaping over the curbs on the second part of that chicane, up to Sungate. Through the left.
Oh, did you see just as he released the brakes, the car turned?
Yeah, just snatched the front left.
Properly on the limit.
A little bit. Lucas de Grassi watching on as he now comes into the two lake chicanes. Bouncing over them. What's he got in the middle sector? Nelson Piquet, the championship leader in the middle sector. 10.5 down, so this could still be enough to put him up into second place, but another big lockup as he exits the chicane. Sideways, brushes the wall.
Did he get the wall? Did he get them?
Now through Rosary Gate.
10 out of 10 for commitment here, Nelson. Good man.
Final chicane. And then just one more turn to go. But this has been a reasonably scrappy lap from Piquet. If he can hook it all together, if he can get up into second place, I think he'll still be happy. Big front right lockup over the line. Third for Piquet. Third for Nelson Piquet. And D'Ambrosio goes second. Jerome D'Ambrosio for Dragon jumps up into second place.
I think I went a little bit too forward on a brake bias. I had too much front lock in the second lap.
Buemi did not improve 25.0.
Did the fastest middle sector of anyone though, but that was Nelson Piquet saying went too far forward on the brake bias, and as a result we did see him locking up at pretty much every corner. So we've still got Salvador Duran out there.
But first blood to Buemi in the championship, you'd have to say.
Absolutely.
Just closed it down to 20 points.
And you couldn't have asked. Well, just watch Duran coming through the final corner now for the Amlin team, 10th at the moment. And he remains in 10th place, doesn't improve that time around. But it'll be Sebastian Buemi who will start on pole position. 4.5 tenths of a second clear of Jerome D'Ambrosio. D'Ambrosio 1,000th of a second quicker than Lucas de Grassi. Nelson Piquet third. I'll have to check if that's the biggest pole margin we've seen all season. I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Second, third and fourth and fifth all in the same 10th.
Yeah.
He's off down the road by 4.5 tenths.
And we couldn't have planned this any better in terms of championship. On the grid, they're in reverse championship order. Buemi, third in the championship on pole. De Grassi, second in the championship, third. Piquet leading the championship, fourth. We are in for a thriller.
Buemi's got nothing to lose, he said it. He's got nothing to lose here. And what's Piquet's strategy? He can't afford to just sort of to cruise around. He's got to stay, as long as he stays close though to De Grassi and Buemi, I would say he's in fairly good shape. But these other guys, I mean, Jean-Eric Vergne, he wants to win a race, as does D'Ambrosio.
Buemi has already taken down the deficit now to 20 points to Nelson Piquet at the top, because you get 3 points for pole position. Buemi's team radio is being forced into the way garage. The pigeon needs to move.
This is something I found in Moscow when I drove the car. Normally, when a car here, when you approach a bird in a racing car, the noise scares it off. At Moscow, they just sat there and looked at you.
So, into the wave bridge comes Sebastian Buemi. Really wonderful lap from him. 4.5 seconds clear of the field, and now we've got the race coming up in 3 hours' time.
And the first lap too from Buemi.
Sebastian Buemi will start on pole position for the Visa London E-Prix later on. 4.5 tenths of a second quicker than Jerome D'Ambrosio. Really strong performance from Sebastian Buemi. Lucas Di Grassi then in 3rd place, Piquet in 4th, Verne in 5th. Look how close all of those guys are. 2nd, D'Ambrosio, Di Grassi, Piquet and Verne separated by less than 1/10 of a second. Nico Prost in 6th place. Turvey, great qualifying performance from him to start in 7th on the grid. Bruno Senna in 8th, Sam Bird in 9th. Salvador Duran with another top 10 qualifying performance. Loic Duval in 11th place there. We saw Chanduk crash out of qualifying. He'll start in 16th, just ahead of Simona de Silvestre. 3 Swiss racers in the final 4 positions, but it's Sebastian Buemi who will start on pole position.